We're joined by Assistant Chief Loria, who's actually in charge of all the uniform operations here at the Novi Police Department. Chief, tell us a little bit about what goes on in here and some of the stuff we got posted in here.
Well, this is the shift briefing room, and as you said a little bit earlier, several times a day the watch commander will come in here and meet with personnel that are getting on duty. They'll receive the latest intelligence bulletins, any extra patrol. They'll review recent crimes over the past 12, 24 to 72 hours. They'll get their instructions for their shift and check out their equipment and leave from here.
We're a very data-driven organization. Talk to us a little bit about some of the data that you see here in terms of what we're doing and how we've kind of changed the philosophy of what it is that we're doing. Not that we're not doing community-oriented policing anymore, but we're actually policing. It's more of an intelligence-led policing now.
That's correct, Chief. As you know, a lot of managers and leaders manage and lead by gut feeling or what they think is happening. We don't do that. We actually drill down, get the hard numbers, and let the numbers and the data tell us what's going on. Probably one of the most important sheets that's up here is the monthly crime report, which lists all our Part A crimes, the most serious crimes, how many have occurred over that month, how many occurred in 2008, what our total is year to date, what the comparison is to 2008 year to date, whether that's up or down, the number of arrests we've made, the clearance rate, so we can track not only where we're at as compared to other agencies, but over the course of any number of years. We can go back 20, 30 years if we want. What that information does is tell us, for example, if we see an increase in larcenies. We will look at the data to determine where those are occurring, at what date and what time they are. And at the shift briefing, the watch commander will assign the troops to patrol that area more heavily or put in an action plan there. Another thing that we track really on a daily basis, but these are based upon monthly data, are overall arrests, where we are. This is a comparison chart from 2008 to 2009, drunk driving arrests, and the number of traffic stops. Drunk driving arrests are up significantly. I attribute that to not only increased enforcement in that area, but I think the economy has had an effect on how much people have been drinking. I know the traffic stop one can be kind of a sensitive thing with citizens, but we use that as a means of targeting specific problem areas throughout the city. On a monthly basis, we get a report on the top 10 accident locations throughout the city and compare those to what's happened over the past 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years. And if we see an increase, which we have recently at an intersection of M5 and 13 Mile, we not only choose enforcement as a possible option of addressing that, but we also work with the Traffic Institute Association, our own traffic engineers, and bring in other people to see if there may be some type of environmental or other cause that's bringing the accidents up.
And in terms of traffic enforcement, we are very, very proactive in that respect because not everyone in Novi commits the crimes in Novi. We have people that are traversing into our city, through our city, and people that sometimes could target our city. And we've been very successful in our overall arrests because we are arresting these people on traffic for minor traffic offenses, but then it turns out that they just committed a breaking and entering or a home invasion. And on some of the national surveys that we've actually done as well, we've received some of our highest marks from our own community members in terms of the traffic enforcement that we do. So.
Yes, and traffic enforcement is not always about writing tickets. A prime example of that came from this summer when one of the command officers stopped an individual for a cracked windshield, a very minor traffic offense. His observations led him to do some more investigation, and within a matter of 4 to 6 hours, we'd linked this individual to several B&Es, breaking and enterings not only in the city, but in other communities. So that's where it starts.
Great results. A lot of good stuff happens in this room, and this is really where it all starts every single day, and at various times throughout the day, depending on the shift and depending on the coverage. And I think that's important to talk about real quick too, is that we don't just have one shift that comes in, we actually stagger our shifts. Talk real briefly how we stagger them so we get the optimal coverage.
Well, what we've done is we've done a workload analysis that's based upon the number of calls for service each hour of the day, and we want the most personnel working at the highest hours of demand and the fewest people working when the demand is the least. So we have shifts that start at 7 a.m. We have a supplemental shift that starts at 3 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock, and one at 7 p.m.
And recently, we've just instituted a 6 o'clock in the morning shift.
That's correct.
Because we saw a bit of an increase in our response times between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. So we actually have 2 officers who start at 6 a.m. So when we have the massive shift change at 7, we still have coverage out there in the community.
And that is the benefit of being data-driven. We looked at the numbers. We identified an increase in our response time from 6 a.m. till about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And to address that, we started a 6 a.m. shift, and it appears that that's resolved that issue.
Fantastic. Thank you.